This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so yesterday we discussed the simple JDBC and we discussed about the some named parameters JDBC template also, but we have like issue identified. So when we are trying to get an object using the named parameters, so JDBC template. So if you attend yesterday class, so you may observe so what kind of error we received. The error is clear, I think. Okay, so we I identified the issue, so I need to use some loop condition here. So this condition I added, so reminding everything the same code we used it. So what we implemented yesterday, same code I am using here. So like result set extractor and so before going to like run comment this line, what's showing here, we need to identify first. So after that, I will remove the particular line, 2 lines of comment. Let me run the same example. So if we observe the particular error, what we identified yesterday. So before starting the result, before starting before startup result set, we are getting some SQL exception. So why we are getting? Because we are identifying one index number, it's returning as a -1. So because of that, so we could not get the particular object from the database, right? Okay, so now, so let me debug one more time. So let me debug one more time to resolve it. So like what is the, okay, so same I'm comment like putting a debug point here. So I'm going to run as a in our debug mode. Debug as a Java application. So we need to identify, so what is the error we are getting. So let me use in the debug perspective. Okay, it is here. So click on F8. Now, so we are in the the particular get student method. So what is the ID here? So let me check ID. Now if you check, so the same message we are seeing, right? So like we yesterday we identified the issue called some index is current row is a -1 is showing, right? So because of this, so we could not get the particular object. So for this, what I am using here, so we need to use some while condition. While condition here, RS in the sense it is a result set object. So using the result set object, so internal is going to check if we have the next element, so then only is entering into the particular this line of code. Like so if the the next element is not available, so it's simply it's come out from the particular while loop. So at this case we don't have a the particular record. That's the reason we are getting the exception before start the result set. So let me close. So now what I'm doing here, so simply I'm changing the, like I'm enabling the particular commented code here. So what is the code I commented here? So like here, this is we need to use here, right? So same thing again I'm trying to open in our I'm running an application in same mode like debug as a Java application. Now we can identify, uh, let me use, click on F8. So it is in next element is received. See, still the current index also -1, but so using this, now we can identify. So it's returning 159 object. So before that, so we find an exception, right? Because so internally the next method is going to check whether the object is available or not. So using that we can eliminate the particular issue what we seen earlier, right? So now click on F6. So simply the data is adding into the our particular student object. So see, if we easily we can identify it because so it's added as a some red color is showing address, USA ID, marks, and the name. It's a React.js it's showing. So this is the way we can eliminate the particular exception. So now we are seeing an output on our console, right? So these two lines we missed yesterday. So now I added this condition like while condition. So this is what up to the what we discussed like simple JDBC and named parameter JDBC template. The last one called simple JDBC, right? So these are the three available in our Spring JDBC. Let me check. One person is commented. I have one doubt. We are doing the same thing with row mapper. How it was working in that case? Where row mapper? See, so I think so. You are discussing about commented the code. This is what I think. Yesterday we used this commented code row mapper. So for this, so we did not use any the particular ID information. So we did not use the ID information. That's the reason. Just we are trying to get an entire object. So simply for this condition is expected. So now we added some condition like based on ID, we are trying to get an object. So that's the reason it is failing. Now this is a simple example. So using an ID, we are like extracting data from the database. So I think your doubt is clear. Okay. Anyone having any doubt? So up to this, the Spring JDBC module is completed. Okay. Now I'm moving into the Spring Hibernate module. So using Hibernate, how we can write an application and what are the advantages we are going to get. So instead of using Spring JDBC, so before going to run in Hibernate, we have three components are available. Like we have three components. What are the three components? So Spring with Hibernate. So this is the module we are discussing. So here we have main three components are available. First one is so lazy loading, and so it is exactly opposite to eager loading. And one more is called cascading. So these are the main components are available in our Spring. So these three we need to discuss first. So after that, we can write a simple program using the our Hibernate concept. But here, so like how the each component is going to work, we need to identify. So for example, I have an application. It is like it is an e-commerce application we are developing. But inside the e-commerce website, I'm trying to get an object called the purchase order information. So I'm trying to get an object as purchase order information. So like so when we are like getting like trying to get the purchase order information, so the purchase order internally depends on the line item. So line item information. So right. So here, so what's going to happen here exactly? So when we are using the lazy loading, so what type of object we need so we can get it. So for example, the purchase order is it depends on the internal line items, but we only require so purchase orders. We don't want to get an objects of these particular line items. So using the lazy loading concept, we can get it the like unique information. But is the eager loading exactly it's working opposite to the particular lazy loading concept, because if you're trying to get the purchase order internally is interacting with the line items as well. Because so here what's going to happen, so when we given an idea of the purchase order, if these two are the having the relations, like if you know the some basic knowledge about the Hibernate, left join, right join, some joins concept, based on that the liner terms also is going to load it. But in our lazy loading, only what we require we can get it in an object. So these are the two components, and how this cascading is going to work. So suppose I'm trying to delete an object. So like some order table, inside the order table, I'm trying to delete one order information. So latest order information I'm trying to delete. So here, what is going to like, so the order information having a some dependency call, so payment informations also, because so we paid some amount, so the paid information is storing inside the payment related table, right? Payment related table. Now once we are deleting object from the like you order related object, right? So this payment related table also is going to delete it. Now if you are trying to insert some record in our order table, so because we are having some relation to the payment table, so the payment table data also is inserted, right? So using this cascading, we can delete or we can insert the child or dependence tables. So these are the three main components are available in Hibernate. So and so here in the Spring, using the Spring frameworks, we can integrate with some other frameworks called Hibernate, as well as so it's going to work on the iBats, Apache, OJB, and data Java data objects. So Toppling. So these are the different frameworks is going to support by the Spring framework, right? So using the Hibernate, like not only getting the object relational mapping, we can get this some advantages called what we explain here, caching and the lazy loading, eager fetching. So these are the three main like advantages also we are going to get it while developing an application using the Hibernate. So here inside the like Hibernate, so if you observe some like jars we identified previously, I think. So Hibernate, like when they introduced the 2.0 version, so they are having the package name call, so net dot sf dot hibernate. So it is available up to two versions, but after that they introduced one more version called Hibernate 3.0 onwards. So they are using org dot hibernate, right? org.hibernate. So these are the specific packages to the Hibernate, right? But come to the our Spring. Spring is going to depends on the some Hibernate related jobs, right? So when we are like developing like using this the Hibernate 2.0 versions, they use it simply org.spring framework .orm.hibernate, right? So this is the up to 2.0 version, and if you see, so from the 3.0 they are adding Hibernate 3. So using the package name we can easily recognize, so the particular class is available in which package, like which in which version we can recognize. So this is the 2.0 and these are the 3.0, right? So this is also we need to identify when developing an application. Some people they may get it is the Hibernate 3 and it is simply Hibernate. So and if you are using the 4, you will get it here 4. So like like Spring is changing this some dependence jar of Hibernates, right? So in Hibernate we have main interface call. What is the main interface? So here we are having session. So using the session only we can interact with our particular database. So we are having one important interface call. So here it is the session. So inside the session we are having some methods called like save, update, delete, and load up. The load methods are available in our session interface. And look, so using the Hibernate template, how we can, because so as we seen earlier, we are using the Spring JDBC template, we connected with our database. So now again, the Hibernate template is implemented by the Spring people. So to use, like to integrate with the Spring with the Hibernate. So how we can use? So here we need to use like uh, bean ID Hibernate template and the class. So simply I'm writing Hibernate template. So here it is a class, and the Hibernate template internally depends on session factory. So the session factory is coming from Hibernate class. This is not available in our Spring. So the internally it depends on the Hibernate session factory. So using the session factory internally depends on the data source. So using the data source only we can connect with our database. Like here, go to our dot XML. If we observe, every time we are using here data source, but this data source depends on this some different because when we are using the input parameters is working as a constructor injection, and before so simple JDBC is working as a property, and if you check the Spring JDBC also it's working as a constructor injection. But any template internally it depends on the data source. So same as the Hibernate also is internally depends on the data source. So let me write a simple program to like execute using an Hibernate. So these are the main component we need to identify and do. So like after Spring we can discuss some of the concept in Hibernate. So mainly Hibernate having the two configurations file. So one is the mapping configuration, like mapping file, and one more is the configuration file. So inside the configuration file, we will define this code, and along with this, we are going to define the session factory and the connection information. But in the mapping file, so we will add just the table related information. So we will see how we can add the table related information. So now comment these lines of code because okay, so we can create the different package. So now what I am doing here, so I think okay, can we use the different file? It is better. Now I am using Hibernate DOO. It is easy to identify. Let me create another XML. So Hibernate.xml I'm using here. Finish. So here, what we can do here, so simply I'm copying from the data source related information, because this data source, every time we are using, we need to copy this information. Now go to hibernate.xml. You can write bean id hibernate template, right? So class we need to write. So now before writing the hibernate template, what I need to write, we need to define our bean, like our class. So the using the our class only we can write a Hibernate template. So let me close this and come to our create one more package. So can we use the same student Hibernate IMPL I am using? What happened? Type name is empty. Oh, sorry, it is inserted in our package, right? So com dot Java technology. So I am leaving DBO, adding Hibernate. This is the package name, and use here. So only I am adding two methods implements. It's taking a little bit time. Student Hibernate. So create an interface student Hibernate and add two methods. So what are the two methods we need to add? So one is save method and one more is get method. So using get method, we need to define some ID we need to define. So first I'm adding save student. Here student. Let me import the particular student. Now I'm saving this. So before going to implement the particular interface, like particular method, so what we need to write here? Private Hibernate template. So like using which version I'm using? Hibernate, like it is a Spring 3. I'm using the Hibernate template. Delete Hibernate template. So now what we need to do? So we need to define some injections. Hibernate template. Do copy these two, paste it here, and use this dot Hibernate template. Hibernate template. Now we come using Hibernate template. What I'm doing here, save or update. We have a method. So what I'm passing as a student object I'm passing. If you observe here, we are not passing any other information. Just simple we are passing. So just it is an object information we are passing. So if you are using the Spring JDBC, So something we passed earlier like ID information. So here we are passing some map related information, and so before the other call we given like here get student this is, and here we are like providing one object array. The object array is taking some parameters, so this is we used in earlier Spring JDBC, but in Hibernate simply we are using the object. What is an object? We are like passing the same object, we are trying to add it into the save or update method. So this is an one advantage we are getting here. Now go to hibernate.xml file. So first copy this Hibernate class, right? So the Hibernate class internally depends on the session factory. We need to define the session factory information. So property name we need to specify. So what is the property we are using here? Like it is a session factory. Copy the session factory and use as a ref. Now we need to create one more bean ID as a session factory, but class we need to specify. So for this class, go to our Spring Hibernate concept and inspect this Hibernate template. So let me check whether the session factory is available as a setter injection or constructor injection. We need to identify. So session factory having as a constructor injection. So here we can identify, right? So use this session factory object. How it is in which package? Org Hibernate 3. So it is there. So session factory is not available. Okay. So this is we need to copy. Mm, The package name is not showing here. Let me go to on top of the imports. So this is the session factory. Right. But here we don't want to copy this package name. We don't want to copy this package name because so this session factory having two classes. So one is local session bean factory and one more is annotation session factory. We have two classes are available. So first I'm taking some local session factory bean I'm taking, but the package name is different. So let me write org dot spring framework dot orm dot hibernate 3 dot local session factory bin. See how I am writing, because some letters are capital, some letters are small letters. So we need to define. So so this is the way the Hibernate template using internally constructor injection, right? Copy, go to here, copy this data source information, add it into our particular session factory reference, right? So now here we need to define our own class. So what is our own class? Simply I'm adding as a student and ID class class what I'm adding here. So what is our implementation class? This is only right. Hibernate and student Hibernate IMPL. Com dot Java technology dot Hibernate dot. So this is the implementation class, right? Now add one property. So what is the property we need to add here? Hibernate template we need to add. So still we are getting some exception. Let me check. Why we are getting an exception? Let me save. Okay, the exception is gone. Now, so if we observe here, from this ID we are passing in our main class, using that is depends on the Hibernate template. The Hibernate template internally depends on the session factory. So the session factory internally depends on the data source. So here inside the session factory, we need to write one more classes information. So I will write, but before writing, what we need to do here? Uh,
Hello?
so like this is the configuration we configured, and go to main class. Where is our this is our main class, right? So simply change the configuration, like, so these two are the very important, and to come to the comment entire lines. So use what is the file of we are trying to add? Hibernate. So hibernate.xml. So same thing is going to load application context. So using this, what we are doing here, student DOO. Not we are not returning student DOO. Simply we are returning as a student Hibernate. Student Hibernate. So using this reference, we are trying to call in a save student object. So before that, we need to create an object of particular class. So let me add creating an object. Now this part is completed. But so here, if we observe the Hibernate, let me see. At the same time of session factory, which set of constructor injection is created will be called. I did not get to the time of the session factory creation, which set of constructor injection is created will be called. Okay, let me open. So some person asking like how, well, while creating a session factory, which in dependency injection is going to call. So here, this is our class, right? Not. This is the class. So what we are doing here, so we are trying to create an object for the particular student Hibernate IMPL class. So here it is depends on the Hibernate template. So the Hibernate template internally depends on the session factory, right? So already I explained here, because if you check here, we have some constructor injection is available here, Hibernate template. So like if you want to create an Hibernate template, we need to pass in a session factory object. So before creating an Hibernate template, so like the container first create object for this session factory, right? So after that, the Hibernate template is going to create it. So using constructor injection, but internally the session factory depends on the data source. So now if you check, the data source first is going to create the data source object is going to create it. After that, session factory. After that, Hibernate template. After that, our particular class. So this is the flow of creating an object. I think uh, it's clear. Do I need to provide any more information? Uh, can you please respond, Nagaraj? Okay, okay. So now, so like the main class also is implemented. This is the way we need to write it. Okay, this part is completed. But the Hibernate, as I said, Hibernate having the two configurations file. One is the mapping file and one more is configuration file. So the configuration file information we are using, this is the configuration file. But where we are defining the mapping file. So using the mapping file, what are the advantage we are going to get here? So just we need to provide the model class, so which we want to store the information into the database. So that information, like where the file is available. So this is the student.xml file. So this is nothing but it is the Hibernate mapping file. So the mapping tag is open and the tag is closed here. And this is the class tag. Inside the class, we have some properties. So this is nothing but mapping file, we can call it as. Let me check one more person is asked. Okay. Here, so inside the class, so what is the name of the class? It is a student we are using, and the table name also student. And ID is 123, and it is the type of int, and the column also we are having an ID. So same as student name, and here I'm changing to the student underscore name. So this is the column name of the particular table. So same as we are having the two different columns. So because we already having the student table in our MySQL database, right? So this is we created earlier. Now what I need to do? So simply I'm changing to the another table because we don't want to delete this data. Connect and do MySQL schema. Select star from student. Right, this data is already available. So I don't want to delete this data. Simply change to for student. This is now we need to some like particular object called session factory. We need to inform to the container. So then only this using this data is going to create an object. So the table is going to create it, not for the object. Where I need to provide inside the session factory, we need to provide. So what is the property name we are using? And the name of the property called so mapping resource. No. So like so this is the property we need to use mapping resource. And so like So once we provide the mapping resource, so we can give as per our requirement, but if this time we have only one. So simply I'm using list tag. So inside the list, so we can define as a value tag. Uh, Simply I am providing as a what is the mapping file name student.xml. Let me add this file if it is working. Okay, otherwise we need to give the full path of the particular file, or we can use the class path information, so we can change get any exception. But now we can use after adding this property, we have one more property, so it's the dilate. So why we need to use the dilate? So dilate like is nothing but, so Hibernate is going to generate some HQLs based on our database requirement. Based on our database, the Hibernate use the one property called dilate. So we need to copy from the Google, because even I don't know what is the dilate. Some Oracle 9, some dilate we are using. Uh, MySQL dilate. So this is the dilate we need to use. MySQL dilate we need to use to Hibernate is going to generate the HQLs for the particular database. So we are using the Hibernate call, sorry, MySQL, right? So we need to add the MySQL related information. So here, let me write one more property we need to take. What is the name? Hibernate properties. Hibernate properties. So the properties, what I'm taking here is the dilate information. So we need to take one prop style. Inside the prop, take one prop. So what is the key here? Hibernate dilate, because it's taking as a key value pair. So this collection we already explained in our core module. DIALECT. So this is the dilate, and you add value here. So Hibernate dilate dot MySQL dilate. So this is the way we can define the particular dilate information. So let me save. So this is all we need to configure. Right now, before running, okay. So this data is fine, because we change the database as it differently. So run our example. Let me see is going to work. Going to throw any exception. Copy. Sorry, save. Oh. Check class not found exception. JDBC exception. What class is not loading? Hibernate JDBC exception. No class. Oh my god. Hibernate template. Hibernate and the instance of the bean file nested exception. Oh, no class def found error. Hibernate JDBC exception. But it's not provided which class is trying to load. Student defined Hibernate cannot be resolved property while setting property Hibernate template. Equation exception Hibernate template. Select Java dot lambda no class def found error. Which class B student is created while creating cannot resolve the reference to bean Hibernate template. Setting the bean property. Bean property template, okay. Exception, creation exception, okay. While creating the bean Hibernate template is not fine. It is not fine. Because what is been saying over Hibernate is Hibernate template. Okay. Local session factory being correct. So mapping resource Hibernate dealer. Okay. Which class? Hibernate template. That is fine. What we are giving Hibernate template is fine. ORM Hibernate is Hibernate template. Hibernate template. Okay. Correct only. Uh, Please one more time. Then define. So student is defined correct only or anything. STUDENT. Let me check the student is defined correct or not. Okay. HIBRNET Hibernate. HIBRNET. Okay. So the configuration file name and the student file property bean ID is also same. But okay. Pre-instancing singleton for a bean support default disable bean factory student Hibernate template session packet root of the factory or hierarchy is fine. Let me copy because even this is first time because it's not showing no class deferrer, but which class is trying to I added the George information also. Let me check the libraries. I have an libraries. We have string ORM. Yes, it's available inside the Hibernate tree. Hibernate callback, Hibernate interceptor, Hibernate template, local. Okay, these are the classes are available, but the session fact is not available. Local session. This is only we are using that local session factory bean. ORG, Spring Framework, Hibernate, Hibernate 3, Hibernate 3. So local SCSS local session factory bean. So correct. We are using correct only. Uh, Let me ask Google because this is first time I'm seeing an exception. What we added correct information. Copy this the last example. Hibernate JDBC exception. Class not found. Application context XML. Okay. What is an exception? Bean case an exception. Like no class org Hibernate exception is getting. They are having Hibernate entity manager. Okay. Do we need to add any? It should have actually been Hibernate in MySQL instead of. So the same dialect we are using, right? org Hibernate dialect dot MySQL dialect. org Hibernate dialect. org Hibernate dot dialect dot MySQL dialect. Correct. Mm, I do not remember the PC exact. Okay, this is also not. If you look at the string ORM Maven dependency, you will see the dependent on ORM Hibernate entity manager. I have already tried to add the entity to what delete the directory. Okay. Now first let me try with the libraries I'm trying to delete. Again, we can add Go to properties. Where it's available. Mm, I'm trying to delete the repository. Not M2 repository. So delete all these. Any suggestion we can find other than this? Spring ORM, Hibernate core. Okay. Maven repository. I think that we need to add Hibernate core. Let me check what version we are using. Inside the pom.xml, so we find like we added version information here. Let me expand Spring ORM. This is 3.2.8. Go to, so it's like the class is not finding it runtime. So the exception we are finding no class def error. So like it is related to some jar information we miss. Like add 3.5.1 because the particular one we are not finding. I'm adding Hibernate core. So let me check. It's downloading. Oof, it's taking some little bit time. Oh my god. So that's the reason only I added before the string ORM, but we missed something. So please wait a couple of minutes because I'm not sure how much time is going to take to download the particular jar information. Let me initializing Java tool finish 9.8. Okay, close. What we need to do? We need to clean and we need to build using our Maven build. So first refresh our application. Refresh. Okay. So now go to Spring example. Maven. Uh, go install. I'm giving. Simply run. So like it is building the project. Again, it's downloading the some jars. I think this much turn like it's not going to take. So failure. What is why? No compiler provided Jari rather than JDK. Oh my god. So go to property, do Java build path, libraries. This correct only. Libraries. So edit. Add JDK here, not JRE. So like it's taking some time. Okay, this change to JDK. So previously it is here JRE. Finish and apply and close. Uh, Finish and apply and close. Let me run as Maven build. So this time I'm downloading all the jars. So if we have a time, we can continue. Else, so we can see in tomorrow class. So I'm not sure how much time it is going to take. If you anyone having any problems, please comment with me so that I will decide do we need to continue or do we need to close the current class. Okay. So now it is success. Like if you see here, build success is available and go to you see again some jars added into the M2 repository. Now run. This is the final step I'm trying to run. If it is not working, so we can see in tomorrow. So again, we are finding class not found exception. Oh, this time static loader. Oh, static logger binder. Okay, it is in SLF4J. So I need to add one more SLF4J jar because this jar I think it's not available. Go to overview of the particular Maven or dependency section. Dependency hierarchy. SLF4J. You are able to see any, but here it is available. Only one or anything is available here. Inside the Hibernate core it is available, but still we are getting an exception. So, but inside this SLF4J, the class is available or not, we need to check. It is in which packet, like which jar? Hibernate core. Where is the Hibernate core is available? Spring core, Hibernate core. So, um, so these are the only Hibernate related information we are seeing here. SLF4J. Here we are finding. Right. So, what is the class name? Here, org SLF4J IMPL. Oh, we don't have the particular package name here. If we identify org SLF4J, we are getting, but these are the classes. But we are finding the class name is the different call .impl also. The package is not available here. So we need to add one more jar. So tomorrow we can see because it's taking more time. Meanwhile, I will try to execute this program and update you in the tomorrow class. Okay, thanks for joining. So like what I'm giving a suggestion means the around so three modules are going to complete, but as of now I did not get any like some practical information. No one is, I think, not yet started. So please practice. If you are not practicing, so same what I'm getting an exception, you will receive more exceptions. One second, someone interface spelling mistake. It's not, it's a different. Okay, so we can see in tomorrow. So one person newly joined. So please practice well. Otherwise, you can't write a single program using in Spring applications, so like Spring frameworks. So it is very difficult to write in a program. So this is my suggestion. So otherwise, if you are attending, also it's very like waste of your time. Okay, so we can continue in tomorrow class with this Hibernate. Where